If you want to own a small business or you own a small business and find that the freedom you thought you were creating for yourself is buried under twice as many hours in the office and no time off, then this book is for you. The ABC Book Club is an ongoing book series where I'm going to discuss highlights and summaries of my favorite books. And because we are all about a holistic approach to life and business, this series will range across a myriad of topics, from parenting to entrepreneurship to time management and more. So, for the inaugural book, we're going to discuss a book by Michael E. Gerber, The E Myth Revised: Why Most Small Businesses Don't Work and What to Do About It. So, hi, I'm Sarah, a mom, an attorney, and business consultant. I have a special interest in working with parent entrepreneurs to develop their businesses and create operational systems that help them audit, manage, and scale. And a lot of the work I do is founded on the principles I pulled from this book. So stick around, see if there's something you enjoy here, and consider joining our community by subscribing below. Okay, let's get to it. The author identifies 3 universal ways of relating to work. Think of them as 3 separate business personalities, each one with their own characteristics and beliefs about the work that they do. There's the technician, the manager, and the entrepreneur. They're all necessary and equally important, but an imbalance amongst the 3 of them can lead to issues. The technician is the expert in whatever the business is in. So think of a plumber starting their own plumbing business or a marketer launching their own marketing company. You get the gist. The technician is all about the execution. The manager is planning and running the business, doing everything required to keep the business functioning and turning a profit. So the manager is all about business sustainability. The entrepreneur is the visionary, the creative personality fully focused on how to drive the business forward. The entrepreneur is all about control and change. Businesses in the US start and fail at an increasingly staggering rate. Every year, over 1 million people in this country start a business. And by the end of the first year, at least 40% of them will be out of business. According to the author, the E myth, or the entrepreneurial myth, is that small businesses are started by entrepreneurs risking capital to make a profit. That's not the case. He argues that small businesses typically stem from technicians who make a fatal assumption that if they understand the technical work of a business, then they understand the business that does the technical work. And they fail because they don't realize that the technical work of a business and a business that does that technical work are 2 totally different things. And suddenly, the small business that was supposed to free you becomes a living nightmare where you're trapped working more than you ever have before. The book goes on to discuss 5 core principles, but we're going to talk about 3 of them. The Law of Objectivization, working on your business, not in it, and the Benefit of Systemization. I get it. You've worked so hard to get your business off the ground. The blood, the sweat, the tears you've poured into it, the sacrifices that most people can't even fathom. Your business feels like a piece of you, but it's not. Placing your identity within your small business can be detrimental to your business growth. It can lead to burnout, poor business valuation, and an identity crisis if things go wrong. So the law of objectivization is about viewing your business as a separate entity from you, like a product. Not only would that allow you to look at your business objectively and reinvent it as needed without taking it as like a personal attack, but it's also a good idea to mitigate legal risk, which is often caused by piercing the corporate veil. And I'm gonna go on a little tangent here and explain what piercing the corporate veil means. So one of the primary purposes of forming a corporation is to limit the liability of the owners. Since a corporation is a separate legal entity from its owners, the corporation itself is liable for its own debt. So that insulation or that shield of the owners from the corporate debt is known as the corporate veil. However, in limited circumstances, if the corporation isn't properly operated, like using the business card for personal expenses, for example, that can pierce the corporate veil, and that means that debtors can go after the owners. The courts have a way of examining that, but generally speaking, you want to keep the business running as a separate entity from you because it is a separate entity from you. Okay, let's get back to the book. The most important thing to remember is that your business is not your life. Your business as a whole is a product, not just the products and services that it produces. And it is a completely separate entity from you, the person. It has its own purpose, it serves its own function. The purpose of your life is not to serve your business, but the purpose of your business is to serve your life. Internalizing that difference helps detach you from the business and refocuses you on building your business and not just cranking out services and products. Recognizing this allows you to work on your business rather than in your business. And when you go to work on your business, it means that you can start asking yourself some really important questions like, how can I get my business to work without me? How can I get my people to work but without my constant interference? How can I systemize my business in such a way that it can be replicated multiple times and still run smoothly? How can I own my business and still be free of it? How can I spend my time doing the work I love to do rather than doing the work that I have to do? Systems, systems, systems. Business systems and processes are the key to business success at any scale. This is one of my favorite parts of business building. No matter how big or small your business is, systems and processes can help you run efficiently. You can create systems for things like marketing, sales, communication, product development, customer support, content creation, and the list goes on and on. View your business as an integrated system. The system does the work, and you, the person, run the system. A business often fails because of a multitude of seemingly insignificant, unimportant, boring things that get neglected. Systems mitigate that. Your business should support your life goals, not be your life goals. It's never too late to implement these mindset shifts and put yourself and your business in a better position. Again, this is a great read for anyone who has a small business or is in the middle of developing one. If you've read this book or another you recommend, drop a couple of takeaways in the comments below, and I'll see you in another video.